This is Algebra Lesson 7.3, Compound Inequalities. First example says, give the inequality graphed on each number line. So a compound inequality is different from a standard inequality because, or from the single ones with one variable, because you're going to have a double symbol. So you have the variable in the middle, and we usually just go with x, but really if you have a different context, you can pick whatever letter would match your situation. We use less thans on either side, and on the left side we're going to put the lower number, which in this case is 15. Because that's an open circle on the 15, I'm good with my less than symbol. On the right side I see the number 19, but that is a closed circle, so it's going to be inclusive of the 19. So basically what this is saying is if I had these graphed individually, I'd have an open circle 15 going this way. So basically, if we read it, x is greater than 15 going that direction. Whereas on this one, I'd have a closed circle going this way, and I would read it, x is less than or equal to 19. So that's like normal, but when you read it this way, for this greater than, it's x is greater than, and that kind of matches here, but we're reading it backwards. Hopefully that makes sense. But if you just look at it like the variable goes in the middle and you always use less thans, that's all there really is to it. So I know I need this and this and this. We put the lower bound on the left, we put the upper bound on the right, and we check if we need our lines. We have an open circle and an open circle, so that is all I need. That one is good to go. If we want to do the reverse process, on letter B, part A, I have the compound inequality -2 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 4. So I'm going to circle my lower bound, and because I have a less than or equal to, I'm going to color it in. On my upper one, I'm going to circle 4, and that is going to remain an open circle because it's just a less than. There's no or equal to sign, and then we just shade in between them. The other way to represent a compound inequality would be two separate statements, kind of like how I said in example A, part A, where you could read that x is greater than 15, and also x is less than or equal to 19. So we're going to give you two statements in letter B. X is less than -6, and x is greater than or equal to -3. So we're going to do the -6 here, and that's a less than, so we're going to shade this way. We have the +3 here, that's an or equal to, so we color it in, and my arrow points to the right, so we shade this way. The compound inequalities where you're shading in the middle will usually look like that, and the compound inequalities where you're shading the extremities or the outer regions will usually look like that. So letter C is another twist. It's not just giving me the compound inequality, I have to solve to find it. So I have in the center there, I'll just read it. I have -1 is less than 6 plus n, which is less than 9. So we need to isolate the variable in the middle of this expression. And to do that, we're going to kind of drop the lines on both inequalities, like we do with a standard inequality. But we're going to do our -6 from the middle to get rid of that 6 by the end. But we're going to do it on all sections, not just two sections like we're used to, but now we got 3 sections to do it on. So the 6 is going to eliminate itself here. Just n is left. I didn't divide by any negatives, so my signs didn't change. And when I do -1 take away 6, I have -7. And when I do 9 take away 6, I have +3. Now that my variable is isolated, I can shade this just like I did the first one. I'm going to circle my -7 and leave it open because that is a less than. I'm going to circle my +3 and leave that open because that is a less than. And then I'm going to shade in between my open circles. And that is the solution, graphed. Letter D, similar to letter C, but now I have a two-step solution. So I'm going to start by dropping my lines on my inequality symbols, and we're going to solve this just like if it was a standard linear equation. We're going to take away 8 on both sides, trying to isolate that variable. But it's not just both sides, it's all 3 sides. So the 8 is gone. We have 4x left in the middle. Less than is still less than or equal to is still less than or equal to. Those only change when we divide by a negative symbol. On the left, negative 20 minus 8 is negative 28. On the right, 12 minus 8 is 4. The second step in solving this equation would be to divide by my rate of change. So I'm dividing by 4, and we're going to do that in all three regions. So on the left, negative 28 divided by 4 is negative 7. Less than is still less than, just x left in the center. Less than or equal to, still there. 4 divided by 4 is a positive 1. So we will circle the negative 7. That does not have an or equal to, so that's good. We're going to circle the positive 1, and because it's or equal to, we're going to shade that circle, and then we shade between, and we're done. Letter C is a word problem. Reads, an iguana needs to live in a warm environment. The temperature in a pet iguana's cage should be between 70 and 95 degrees inclusive. Write a compound inequality to show the temperatures that are within the recommended range, then graph the solutions. So this word inclusive means that you should have some or equal to's. So I'm going to say 70 is less than or equal to T, and the variable again doesn't matter. I picked T for temperature. You can just stick with X, less than or equal to 95. If it didn't have the inclusive, we wouldn't have the or equal to's. But we know the temperature has to be between 70 and 95. So I'm going to just start with 70 here. I'll put 80 here. I'll put 90 here. I'll put 100 here. I really don't need to keep going, but if I go by 5s and label every other one, I can circle my 70 and or equal to it. I can circle my 95 and or equal to it. And then I can shade between. So we are saying it can be anywhere from 70 to 95, including 70 and 95. Open circles would not include those, but my closed ones do. That is it for the notes on this lesson. Good luck on the exercises, and please let me know if you have any questions.